Let's face it, the most important impression that you can make is your first impression, and the first impression of your home is your front porch. So today I'm excited to share with you some super fun, easy, and affordable spring and Easter DIYs. Let's get to it. Let's start off by hitting up Dollar Tree and grabbing a few of their wooden signs. I'm grabbing one of these bunnies and 5 of these wooden eggs, but you can mix and match some different shapes that you like as well. Now you want to go ahead and attach all of your signs together in a row, stacking them so they are one on top of another. I'm going in with some wood glue to do that. Once I have the wood glue on, I do use some clips to hold it in place. When I have all of them together, holding them in place, I just let that sit aside to dry. Now you'll notice that it's still a little bit flimsy after it dries, so I do grab a 1x2 to create a spine for my sign. And again, I go in with some wood glue again, and I clamp that on. But to really secure it, I'm going in with some staples. You can also use like finishing nails if you want to, and I'm just stapling that from the front because the staples are not long enough to go in from the back, but we will be covering up the staples. If you were using a finishing gun, then you could go in from the back. You just want to make sure your nails are not too long to go all the way through. For the letters, you're going to want to use some of Dollar Tree's vinyl. They have so many fun colors. I just chose some that really screamed spring to me. Grabbed those and spelled out the word Easter using my Cricut. Now you don't have to use a Cricut, especially if you don't have one. You can trace out the letters and hand cut them like I am doing with this little baby chick that I used on a different project. So whatever you want to do, go ahead and get those letters cut out, and then when it's time to apply them, you're just gonna peel them off the paper like you would a sticker. So a tip I will tell you about this vinyl is it is a little bit on the thinner side, so take your time as you're peeling it off, and then place it gently onto your sign, and then use a scraper in order to make sure you get out any of the bubbles, and so that it has a really good adherence. I think the glitter vinyl is super beautiful, by the way. Also, another tip I would have is don't worry about if all your letters line up perfectly. As you notice, I will not line my letters up perfectly. I didn't even line my eggs up perfectly. It makes it so much easier if you're a little bit imperfect purposefully. Once you have all your letters on, the last thing you need to do is decorate your sign, and you can decorate it however you want. But I'm going in with these wooden eggs that Dollar Tree carries, and I'm painting them in some colors that were similar to the same colors of vinyl that I used. Once they're all painted and dry, I just use some hot glue to place a few eggs on all of the different signs. After that, this sign is done. I absolutely love it. I think it's so cute, and it stands 4 feet tall. One of my favorite and easiest things that you can do is to create a custom doormat. All you have to do is go pick up one of these doormats from Dollar Tree and then a couple of shapes. For Easter, I'm going with a couple of eggs, but of course you could do chicks, bunnies, whatever your heart desires. Grab a couple of those eggs, lay them onto your mat, and then grab a couple different colors of spray paint. I'm starting off with a lighter color first, and I'm spray painting the entire mat. While it's still on there wet, I'm going in with the darker color, and I'm really concentrating that on the perimeter, on the outside edges of the mat, and then also on the outside edges of the shape. I then just let that sit up. I let that dry. Once that dries, I go in with some of Dollar Tree's stickers, and I decided just to spell out the word hi with an exclamation mark, but you could also do your name, just the initial of your last name, whatever you want. I place that down, and then I go back in with that lighter color. I color in that smaller egg. I add a little bit more of that lighter color to just kind of add kind of like an ombre. Think like a little bit of an ombre on that other egg. Then I cover back up where those eggs originally were, because now I want to protect that lacy look and that smaller egg, and I go back one more time with that darker egg, and I take it all the way around that mat. It really brings out that bright pink color. Look how bold and beautiful that is. Once that dries, you can take everything off. To really get your letters popping, because now they are a little bit toned down, just go in with a Sharpie, trace over those. That will do the job, and then this mat is done. I absolutely love it. I think it is the perfect accent to your front porch. I know that it would welcome anyone that came to say hello to you. Plus, as a bonus, now your stencils can also become a part of your decor. I found these beautiful flowers at Walmart. These are cabbage roses as well as these other little pink flowers. I thought they made such a great combination together that I already made this one arrangement. And I loved it so much, I decided to go ahead and make another arrangement to put outside. To start off with, you want to make sure that you go ahead and you trim down the roses and you cut the other flowers apart. From there, you are going to go ahead and place the roses in the center of your vase or whatever container you're using. I'm using a pitcher. This is actually when I did it the first time for inside my house. I place the roses in the center and then I take the other flowers on the perimeter or on the outside and I fill it in, and that is what is adding the fullness to this arrangement. Now I also make sure that I bend them and have them kind of fall and twist in different direction, and that gives it a much more organic feel. I absolutely love this. It's such a fun and poppy color. It's great for spring, going into summer, but it also adds a little bit of what I have on the inside of my house, on the outside of my house, and it really combines the two together. Of course, I grabbed a couple more of those cabbage roses and tossed them into this basket and draped them over. I'm hanging that up with a Dollar Tree hook. I'm always looking for ways to bring people's eyes up, and I think this did a beautiful job. I love how all the flowers came together. Now, one of my favorite things are these candles. These are run with a remote, or you can set a timer. With the remote, you can just pop them on and pop them off whenever you want. You order these off of Amazon. They are fantastic. I am so excited to share with you how to make this super easy door hanger for Easter. All you need to do is to start off with an 18-inch wood round. You can pick one of these up at Home Depot, Lowe's, just your local hardware store. If you want to do something on a smaller scale, you can pick up an 11-inch wood round at Dollar Tree. You can even find them at Target. Now it's time to go ahead and tape it off so you can get ready to paint it. Now you're going to tape it off depending on how many colors you're using. I'm going in with 3 different colors. If you're going in with 3, I like to leave a larger section on the top half because that is where I'm placing my bow, and I want to make sure I have plenty of room for my bow before I place my wording. Now you can go in and paint. I already went ahead and I painted the center yellow, and now I'm painting both the top and the bottom this blue color. Once that completely dries, I can reposition the tape and then I can go in with my white stripes. Is it weird that I find removing tape super satisfying? Probably so. But once it's completely dried, now you can go in with your vinyl or whatever it is that you want to use. I'm using my vinyl. I cut this out with my Cricut. You do not have to use vinyl to do this. You can use a paint marker. You can use a Sharpie. You can just use paint and a paintbrush. Whatever it is that you want to do, your artistic ability can just go hog wild at this moment. If you are going to use a Cricut, I'm going to go ahead and leave a link to my decal that I created here in the description box so that you can cut it out if you want to. If you are not using a Cricut, but you are creating this sign, I would love to know how or what you're going to be putting in the center of your sign. Just curious minds want to know. I am going to show you how to make the easiest bow you have ever made. You're going to take 3 different coordinating wired ribbons and cut 4 strips of each of the ribbons at 20 inches in length. You're going to take one of each of the colors of ribbon and then just set those aside. Then you're going to take the rest of all the other ribbons and you're going to fold those in half so that the centers overlap 1.5 to 2 inches. Then you're going to take a zip tie and then all of your folded ribbons. So lay down the zip tie and then you're going to put the ribbon on top of that and then take your straight ribbon and place it right on top of those folded ribbons. And then you're going to take your zip tie and you are going to wrap that around and your ribbon is going to hot dog up and you are going to zip tie that zip tie closed tight and snip off the extra. Now for your tails, you just want to fold those in half, and from the end towards the center, you just want to cut up, giving yourself some little dovetail ends. Do that to both sides. Now to cover up that zip tie, take another piece of ribbon, probably one that matches the ribbon that's on top, You're gonna wrap that around and hot glue that, and then your zip tie will be completely covered up. To fluff out that bow, you're gonna have to get a little bit aggressive with those loops, and you're gonna have to turn and twist them. Make sure they're vertical and horizontal. Use that wire that's in them. Do not be afraid to get in there. Just make sure you show that bow who is boss. When you go to apply it to your door hanger, I like to use a staple gun. You can also hot glue it, but the staple gun is a really good way to get the tails to stay in place where you want them. So I go in first to attach the tails, and then go ahead and fluff it up again, and then use the staple gun to hold a few of your loops exactly where you want them, either on the bottom and on the top. And then from there, you do need something to hang it with. I just grabbed another piece of ribbon and stapled that to the back, and then this is all done. I think this is beautiful, and you can customize it in so many different ways with so many different colors. Just a beautiful way to greet all of your friends and family that stop by to say hello. Here is another bow that I did with that same zip tied method. I absolutely love it. I told you it is the easiest bow you will ever create. If you enjoy fun and easy DIYs, I hope you'll consider hitting that subscribe button if you haven't already. Here's another video that I have picked out for you. Thank you so much for spending your time with me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!